This episode of Inside High School Sports is brought to you by Berkshire Hathaway and real estate salesperson Jessica Best, your best friend in real estate, serving you in the Glow region, Monroe County, and beyond. Byron-Bergen alumnus Brandon Burke enjoyed an extraordinary high school athletics career and went on to accomplish great things at the University at Buffalo. He was recently inducted into the Section 5 Track and Field Hall of Fame.
With Byron-Bergen alum Brandon Burke, University of Buffalo graduate, recent Section 5 Track and Field Hall of Fame selection. Brandon, first off, just, tell us kind of what's been happening since UB and, what you're in the process of doing now.
Yeah, so I graduated from UB last year. I got my BS in Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, and then now I'm at Virginia Tech working on my Master's in Mechanical Engineering and also competing in track and field. This past year, I actually did a red shirt because I hurt my back and I unfortunately had spine surgery in December. So next year I'll be hoping to compete again.
Geez, spine surgery, talk about that for a minute. Was that just a process of training? Was it something specific you did? What happened there? Yeah,
so in I think October, I was in the weight room just squatting, and I hit the bottom of the squat and felt a pop in my back, and it kind of just went downhill from there. My entire leg kind of gradually just went numb. The nerve was just kind of pretty screwed up. I had a lot of trouble sleeping, couldn't really sit through class. It was pretty tough, but like I said, I had the surgery in December and I've been feeling better every day since. So,
have you started the rehab process yet or not yet?
Yeah, absolutely. That actually starts pretty much the day after surgery. So
really?
Yeah, it was a pretty quick recovery in terms of like getting back into doing normal stuff like walking around and stuff like that. But in terms of competing, it's kind of a much longer recovery process because the nerve has to heal and that takes quite a while. So still working on that.
This is the worst injury you've ever had to deal with, I'm assuming, right?
It's definitely the most frustrating for sure because I feel really well. I lift a lot of weight in the weight room, but just doing like max effort jumping and sprinting and things like that are still really tough for me.
Just talk about your time at UB and, just how much you enjoyed that time and that experience and, how much you were able to, kind of shine there on a national level.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was a huge shock coming from high school. I mean, in high school as a 3-sport athlete, so I didn't really focus too hard on track and field, but once I got to college, I was able to fully dial in on track and field and take advantage of all the things that they offered at UB, whether it be sports nutrition, their athletic training staff, strength and conditioning, all that. So yeah, it was amazing there, and I ended up doing really well. So
now, like when you decided to go to Virginia Tech, was that a school decision or an athletics decision, or was it a combination of the two?
Yeah, it was definitely a combination of the both. I mean, Virginia Tech is a really good engineering school, arguably one of the best in the country. And then also their track and field team is pretty top tier. I mean, they were the ACC champions this indoor season. So obviously they're at the top of a Power 5 conference. So that definitely played a role in my decision.
Absolutely. You mentioned coming from high school and, going to UB, how long did it take to really get acclimated with, probably a lot of things about jumping and track that you weren't aware of in high school that you learned going along your freshman year at college?
Yeah, I mean, you never really get totally acclimated. Like every year you're learning something new. Coming as a freshman, you know nothing. And like I said, every year you learn something new. And that's just how it is.
Yeah. When was it, you think, at UB that you realized you made the right choice of pursuing this track athletics career in college and maybe into the future? Obviously, like you said, a 3-sport athlete, I'm sure you got looks for basketball as well. And, When were you sure that you made the right decision?
I mean, it was before I even made it to college when I was getting Division I offers while still in high school. That's kind of when I realized like this is probably the right path for me, because if somebody's willing to pay a lot of money for me to attend their university, that kind of says something to me at least. So
Absolutely. Tell you quickly, we briefed over it, when I did the story on before, but just, talk about being inducted into the Section 5 Hall of Fame and kind of just what that meant to you.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I worked really hard in high school, and it's really cool to see all that hard work pay off. And I'm really proud to be inducted into the Section 5 Hall of Fame, especially with some of the other people that were inducted with me, such as like Kyle Rollins. I know he's an incredible athlete, so it's really awesome to get inducted in with people like him. So,
yeah, speaking of Kyle, you following his career and kind of what he's been doing, and do you guys talk at all?
We don't talk, but I definitely see what he's doing. I know he competed at the USATF Nationals this past weekend. I know he did pretty well there, so I'm always rooting him on, and I hope he does really well.
Have you been able to tell the difference, between UB and then going to the ACC yet, even though you've been injured? Have you seen the level of competition that you're going to have to be facing?
Yeah, I mean, certainly being in a Power 5 conference, it's definitely a step up. Not to say anything bad about UB, but
no, not at all.
It's just another level of just the resources they have and the money that they have available for their student athletes.
Yeah. Is there, you accomplished a lot at UB. Is there anything you didn't accomplish there that you kind of wish you would have?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I made the national meet 3 times, and it was one of my goals to get top 5 at the national meet, and I never achieved that. I got 7th at one meet and 8th at another meet, which obviously is not top 5, but that was my goal, and hopefully I can do that this year at Virginia Tech. So,
where coming off the injury, what are your immediate goals when you begin getting back into competition?
I mean, I would say they're more qualitative goals at this point. Kind of just how I feel. I'm not really chasing any numbers at this point. I mean, this summer I'm trying to get in the weight room 4 days a week, sprint 1 day a week, and kind of just like build up my base strength, try not to get injured again, and just kind of feel better. But I think once I get that down, then I can kind of focus more on the quantitative goals of like what height do I want to hit. But yeah, as of right now, it's more just trying to feel better, feel the spring in my legs and stuff like that.
Is there any concern? Are you going to be worried, because of the injury, or are you going to be pretty confident, you think?
I mean, as of right now, you always have to be confident. You can't go into a season thinking that you're not going to do well, or else you are not going to do well. So I don't have a doubt in my mind that I'm going to succeed, and that's the mindset I need to have going forward.
You're at a great school. You're in a great program. You're going to get a great degree. Is that mindset at some point, whether it's right away or maybe, in the near future, to continue with jumping after college?
That entirely depends on how this season goes. As of right now, I'm leaning towards probably not, because I've been pretty beat up by doing it for 10 years at this point. So I don't know if I'm willing to continue doing that to myself. But I mean, if I end up doing really well this season and I end up making Olympic trials and things like that, who knows? Maybe I'll end up continuing after college.
This episode of Inside High School Sports is brought to you by Berkshire Hathaway and real estate salesperson Jessica Best, your best friend in real estate, serving you in the Glow region, Monroe County, and beyond.